it's very important that the central reference laboratory and the central unit where lung cancer is managed in the context of a multidisciplinary team or a tumour board communicates very well with the community hospitals. It is still the case, certainly in the UK, that the majority of lung cancer is diagnosed in district general hospitals, community hospitals, and the biopsy, therefore, will be obtained by clinicians in those community hospitals, and the initial pathological analysis will be by pathologists in those community hospitals. And it's very important that those practitioners need to feel part of the entire enterprise, and education of those clinicians is very important, because it's very easy to forget when you're working in a specialist centre that when you get outside into the wider world, there is not that intensity of experience and that level of knowledge. And it's important to maintain those links, because ultimately it's engagement of these very important practitioners at the start of the process which determines the quality of the specimen, the way it's handled by the pathologist, and ultimately determines what we in the centre can do in terms of making the very best of that in profiling the tumour so that the patient can be managed appropriately. So education is very important. One of the major changes which is about to occur in England is the centralisation of genomic testing of all solid tumours into 7 genomics laboratory hubs, GLHs. And this is driven by NHS England and is a very ambitious and laudable plan, because of course it will bring economies of scale, it will bring uniform technology, it will bring uniformity of standards and quality assurance, and there are clearly advantages. However, it will inevitably dismantle some of the very well established and very efficient, more local networks that have been developed over the last decade since we first started profiling non-small cell lung cancer, and which actually work very efficiently. They might not use the latest NGS technology, they might use single gene testing like we do in Liverpool, but they are very efficient, they are very quick, and they're very flexible. And I'm concerned that when this change takes place, at least for a while, there will be quite severe disruption to the smooth running of these local networks. Now, of course, that sort of local organisation is not present everywhere across England. It's very patchy, and centralisation in some areas will bring enormous advantages where there have been problems over the last 10 years because there's not been an integrated system for testing. But we have to be careful that we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater here, if I can put it that way. And there are other problems. For example, NGS technology tends to require more tissue than single gene testing. And we all are aware that the specimens that we often get to test as pathologists are very small. And the advances in the techniques used to get them, like EBUS, radial ultrasound, bronchoscopy, and EBUS aspiration of lymph nodes, which have developed over the last decade, tend to get smaller specimens. And so therefore we have to try and manage that. And inevitably, because of centralisation and large panel testing, the turnaround time will increase. It will be less efficient. So there are disadvantages to this. And currently, this change, this transition, is projected to take place on the 1st of April 2020. So this is imminent. And I'm not entirely sure there's a general awareness about what's happening here. So it's a laudable plan, it's extremely ambitious, but I think we have to be aware that for a while at least this might cause some quite significant disruption with the well-organised, more local testing that's established in large parts of England.